how incredible that these people are able to make people homeless and yet and still people
Go ahead.
people have the tendency to go along with these people because they need a place to stay.
Yeah.
Do you know, television audience, this is downright ludicrous and it's demonic and it's wrong, completely wrong. Now, how can a person afford to pay $950 to $1,000 a month for a one bedroom? You got 3 or 4 children.
Right.
Now, how in the hell can you stay in a one bedroom and your 3 or 4 children live in the same one bedroom, but you can't afford anything else? And one of the things that I have been fighting for so many years is this UD amnesty bill.
Yeah.
And what's so killing about it is the people in the state capitol, they had the audacity. This is what, 2001. 2001, they had the nerve to just put it on the shelf, UD amnesty bill. The real estate owners, the developers, the people who are controlling the monies, they constantly get richer, and the politicians are supporting them, and they going along with everything these people are saying. Just yesterday, my wife and I went to 2 or 3 different places just to interview, just to see how much these people are charging. And now I'm talking about Brooklyn Center. I'm not even talking about Minneapolis right now. Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park. These people are charging between $900 to $1,050 for a one bedroom. One bedroom.
Tell about the 2 bedroom.
The 2 bedrooms, you end up spending between $1,200 to $1,500.
Tell them about this one. You have to pay water bill too.
And you have to pay water, sewage, garbage. You share with them.
You know what? Look, TV land. Now, you've been popping hunting, and you know people have, and families and friends and whatnot. Now, look here. You have to think about it. Think about it seriously. Do you want to stay up in this town, in this area, in this state, and pay the same thing you would be paying if you had owned your own house?
Thank you.
Same thing. Why would you want to pay? I mean,
why do you have to pay?
And then I'm gonna tell you something, because I'm not gonna pay that type of money. No, I'm not. Now let me tell you something. My husband was saying, if you had 3 or 4 children in one bedroom, I don't like it for just us. I don't like no one bedroom apartment. I like a lot of space. Okay, so now we have a lot of clothes, a lot of coats,
a lot of furniture.
Yeah, so now just think about one bedroom.
You can't put.
Where you gonna put your clothes at? What, they want you to throw your clothes away? Is that what it is?
And they're forcing people to do homeless activities in order to survive.
Like what?
You know, like they're gonna end up stealing, robbing, burglarizing, selling drugs, doing all of the things, the criminal activities.
Well, it takes to make ends meet.
In order to eat.
Yeah, because they would not raise it. Now, you know who I blame.
In order to feed their children.
Well, who do I blame? Who do you blame?
The politicians.
Exactly.
We voted these knuckleheads in there, and these knuckleheads are allowing these real estate developers and these property owners to raise up rent as they see fit.
Well, why
there should be a cap on how much rent is going to be raised every
That's
year.
the solution.
This is one of the best solutions, to put a cap on raising the properties, the rent for properties. $900
For one bedroom is
for
ridiculous.
one bedroom.
And listen, it's not even an updated apartment. You know, when you pay that type of money, $1,200, even $900 for one bedroom, $1,000, you are looking for. I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking for. If I had to pay that type of money, number one, if I pay $1,200 for 2 bedrooms, I don't think I should have to pay any utilities. Light, gas included, everything is included. Secondly, there should be an updated kitchen. The countertop should be granite, that beautiful granite material, and the floors should be laminated, okay, or either that brown wooden floor, okay. This is what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for a patio or a balcony, okay. I'm looking for extra closet space, wide walk-in closets. I'm looking for granite bath, the bathroom as well, and a vanity. If I pay that type of money, but no, these people, oh yeah, got this swimming pool, a fitness room, and a clubhouse. But these people, they don't care, and they know most African Americans cannot afford it, and they cannot do it.
And this,
so what they do, they move. They're not going to stay here.
And you see the state age action, they try to curb homelessness. Now, how, one of the reasons, well,
we want me to read some of it. We don't have to read all of it. You want me to read some of it? All right, give me the answers. Okay, and this is taken from Minnesota.
I'm over 70.
This is taken from Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. And this was from March 28th, which is the other day, up to April 3rd. Okay, here we go. State action urged to curb rising homelessness. And the White House. Homelessness, ever present though it is, doesn't have to be everlasting. It is a totally solvable issue, said Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless.
Okay, before you go any further.
Okay.
One of the basic reasons that people are homeless, not only the rising rate of the rent, but UDs, which is unlawful in itself. You continue, because
he gets emotional about the UDs. Okay. All right, so
UD amnesty bill is what we're striving. We've been working on 21 years to get this UD amnesty bill passed. You get a UD, which is an unlawful detainer, which landlords can put on you. You can't get an apartment for 7 to 10 years. This is one of the reasons that there's been such an increase in homelessness for the last 20 years. And no one, none of these, I take that back. There are some politicians that have been fighting with me to help curb this. And a lot of them have retired now. Karen Clark.
Is she still there?
Karen Clark is still in there. Linda Higgins and Linda Bergman, she's retired. But the one who's still in the office, who's still, Willie Dominguez is retired. But Keith Ellison, he's the Attorney General now. He is still fighting for the people. He is fighting for the people.
Okay, the estimation is that since 2015, there was a 62% increase in homeless. Since 2015, there is a 62%, that's too large, who were not in a formal shelter, and the rate of unsheltered children went up 56%. How would you like to raise your child in a shelter, on the streets?
And tell Mr. Ordinance how I got involved in this UD amnesty bill that I've been pushing for so long is for the fact that I saw a woman with 3 children. It was in January. Mary Jo's was filled up and they turned her away. Now this was in 2000. 2000. Now let me tell you something. This woman with these 3 children, the one she had in her arms, one of my friends, I didn't even know that he had picked her up when I got to the building that I was staying in, 800 Fifth Avenue, cross the street from where KMOJ used to be. She was in there. The baby had turned blue. And the baby died right there in front of everybody. And yet and still, nothing has been done. But let me tell you what happened as a result of that. The woman ended up going to the hospital. I don't know if she had a heart attack or nervous breakdown or what have you. She ended up in the hospital. And her 2 children ended up going to under some foster place that they had set up for unfortunate individuals.
And the woman died too, love?
Well, I don't know if she died, but I heard that she was in very bad shape. So I never really followed up on it. But this is one of the reasons. And she had a UD on her. She couldn't get an apartment. And you could see the reason that she couldn't get an apartment. Even back then, the rents was very high. They're not as high as they are now, but they was high. This was in 2000. No. We got married in
2002.
2002. So this was in the 90s.
Yeah, that was in the 90s.
Because I came up, it was in 1991 and 1992 when this took place.
Oh, the rent was cheap then.
It wasn't that cheap. Because other than that, she wouldn't have been on the street. And what's so killing about it, people was freezing to death. Most of them was Native Americans. They was Indians. Well, because right behind Mary Jo's, we drove past there. It was a man there. I said, "What are you doing sitting out there in this cold weather?" He was frozen to death. It was 694 people died from freezing to death.
You know why I love? I say the rent was cheap because I used to pay real cheap. You know, but I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't know about this at the time when I moved up here in '93. If you leave an apartment and you know you don't give no notice or any kind of reason, you can't do like Chicago. You don't like you just go.
You got to get 30-day notice.
And you know what? A lot of people don't know that coming from up here, and that's how they get the UD. So we don't know the circumstance why she didn't have a place, because the rent was definitely cheap back then. But maybe she got into it with the landlord. Maybe she got sick and couldn't pay that rent. Or maybe somebody died with the family. Any kind of reason.
If the landlord don't like you, like he makes you sexual,
that's right, and you don't want to
and you don't participate in what he wants you to do, he can put you out, give you a UD, and he don't give you no 30-day notice. And these people don't know that this is unlawful.
And then too, now what if the landlord, you ask him to fix your toilet and he will get mad and he can put the UD? Now, tell him about the UD. They can, before you even go in front of a judge, you ever had a UD on the record?
Sure do. And what's so killing about it is the fact that when you try to get a place, if you got a UD on you, you cannot get an apartment because you got the UD. Now, I was working, and I'm still working on trying to get anybody who have the UD for over a year, get it expunged. You should not be punished for those 7 to 10 years because your job closed up, you couldn't pay your rent, or the business closed, or they went out of business.
That's right.
And you know how hard it is to find a job. if you aren't qualified, if you don't have the necessary qualifications, what are you going to, how are you going to feed your family? You know, while you trying to find a job.
You know what? Now, see, these people take that security deposit, right? So when a crisis occurs in your life, they should be considered, okay, well, this person been paying me all this time. It could be 20 years, they don't care. If somebody in your family died and you just couldn't work for that little short period of time, but you are back at work in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and they will put you out. They don't care what happened. They do not. These are heartless people up in this camp. They do not care. They are as cold as the weather. Now I'm going to read this to you real quick. 63 Minnesota's 87 counties do not have a fixed site shelter. 63 out of 87. If we would maintain the status quo, this dangerous trend will continue. Okay, he said left in a press release. Encampments will become more frequent, and the number of Minnesotans sleeping outside in life-threatening temperatures will continue to climb.
I will tell you, 690
I don't know if you can see this.
Has died.
Look at these bridges up in there. I mean, not those bridges, those tents. You see it?
I have a list of all the people that my list only go back a certain amount of years. But the years that Thomas Haig, he was the chief referee or the chief judge as far as homelessness is concerned. He was one of my best friends, and he directed me to how I can get the information to find out who is being punished and how extreme the situation is. But we elect these politicians into office that do not give a continental about what happened to the people. And these are the same people.
Year after year after year and year. And it's getting worse. It's getting more people. Now, those unfortunate ones wind up, subsisting under bridges, living under bridges, okay? In cars and in trucks, and in makeshift encampments.
Because they can't afford to get
You know how cold it was? This was the most brutal weather I ever seen in my entire life. It made me so mad up here, so cold. I said, I got to go down to Dallas somewhere. I can't stay up in this cold. Look here, February, I forget how many days. It's almost a whole month that we had below zero. I can't.
And the snow was taller than me.
Now, can you imagine staying in your car, sleeping anywhere in all that cold? Baby, you're gonna freeze to death. You're gonna die. You're gonna die.
And the people who are in position to change these situations do nothing. They do nothing. They're comfortable. Matter of fact, I think because of the fact that these people apparently they must be paying these politicians something.
That's
because
right.
Other than that, they would have changed these situations. These situations should have been changed years ago.
Or what's the other one? They must be paying more. What else? Well, if they're not getting kickback from most of them, well, I don't know, most of them, some of them are landlords too. Okay.
Most of them probably own buildings.
Okay, so now you gonna keep, but you know what, people, look here. If you keep on paying that high rent, if you go ahead and just sign that contract and give all this money, guess what? They're gonna keep raising up every month. I mean, every year. Every year they're gonna keep going up. Now, if you refuse to move in places like that, and you look for a cheaper place, even if you have to move far away, but at least you will live. At least you can pay your rent. At least you can buy food.
Just using, excuse me for
interrupting. That's it.
Just using as an example, Patrice and I, we went from $700 a month rent. Right now, the same people, they want $1,350. If it went from
700 the old house, so the new house 1,200, 1,000,
then 1,200, now $1,350. Now,
plus every bill, light, gas, water,
and sewage, and that don't include what you got to pay for your food, for your light, for your internet, for your telephone, for your insurance, and for anything that takes place in your house, you got to fix up. Now, if you rent an apartment, you shouldn't have to pay water bill. You shouldn't have to pay.
You should have to pay in the house either.
You shouldn't have to pay
because you rent. That's not yours.
You rent.
That's not your property.
Now, these politicians know this is unlawful. They know this is unfair, but yet and still they continue to support these same people because these same people support them. These same people put money into their campaigns when they running for office and stuff. So they, one hand wash the other. Well, you support me, you give me $1,000 donation, you give me $2,000, what have you. You will keep things the way that you want it to be. In other words, you're going to be allowed to continue to raise up the people's rent where they can't afford it and they end up homeless. And when they're homeless, what happens? It increases the criminal activity. They got to steal, they got to sell drugs, they got to rob, and they do whatever they can to feed themselves and their family.
Yeah.
And you got 4 or 5 children, you don't care what you got to do, you got to support and feed your children. And this is wrong, people. This is awfully wrong. So when you hear, and you will be hearing in the very near future, support the UD amnesty bill, and you make sure you let your congressman and your state representative and your senators know that you support this UD amnesty bill. You do not want this to continue. You do not want this for your kids. Here, you 40, 50 years old. What, 10, 20 years from now, what your children going to be doing? Here, I'm 70, and I don't want my grandchildren to have to go through this. Or great-grandchildren, because we have got them too.
Great-grandchildren. Now, you know what? For a person to be so cold, they don't have no soul. Couldn't have a soul. Couldn't have a heart, couldn't have a mind. No, they don't believe in God. They don't have a soul. Because how in the world can you allow yourself to turn your back on anybody, and it is our human right to have shelter?
You got that right.
So now you got to make a choice. Well, I'm going to pay this $1,200 on this apartment.
Or feed my children.
And yeah, now I can't shop at the store. I got to be forced to go to food
pantries.
Okay, and you know most of the food is old anyway, but you know what? That's what I have to do because I got to pay my rent. Now, I might have a child that needs medical attention. Most kids in this state, somewhere down the line, they have asthma. Okay, so now I need to get the medication. I need to get the nebulizer treatments. You know, I need to get the inhalers and stuff. You know, for my asthmatic child. But you know what? I really don't have a lot because the medical won't pay so much. And guess what? Here I go. You know, well, my lights gonna have to be cut out because I can't afford to pay the lights and pay.
And how you gonna get your children down to the hospital? Your transportation. Your children.
I can't afford gas in my car because I got to pay all my money on rent. Then I had to beg my other family members, and they may come and they may not. I don't have nobody to depend on. And my kids need some shoes. and I don't have no money to buy none, so I gotta go to a store and get some used gym shoes for my child. And you know, he couldn't wear no boots this year because I couldn't afford the, you know, stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you know what though? I'm gonna tell you something. We, as a nation, have to get together. Together we stand. Divided we fall. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And we put these people into office thinking that they're going to make things better for us. Just like our governor. Now, I'm going to tell you. Now, he told the people that he was going to raise the gas tax. It was $1.99 a gallon.
He told you what he was going to do.
A month ago.
He told you.
Now it's $2.69 a gallon.
It'll be the $3.50. You watch.
From $1.99. Now this is ridiculous.
But you voted who you wanted to vote for. Didn't you?
You voted him in there.
All because he was a Democrat.
You're
going by those parties. I'm not going by those parties. I'm going by the issue. Okay.
And I don't give
I don't care what you are.
Who you are.
I'm going by
if you're
the
not
issue.
for the people,
I'm
you're
not
against
going by the parties. So you let this man say, and I'm gonna tell you something else. He had nerves to say, you know, when it was real freeze outside, it was -22 with the wind chill, -44. He said that he's not gonna close the schools up. He's gonna leave it to the districts. And the district's going to close up fine, and the families just do what they want. They want to send them.
Now,
Ain't no way in the world I send my kid out there.
22 with those zeros.
I won't go. Okay? Matter of fact, I didn't go. Matter of fact, I stayed in for what? I went out 2 days a month for the whole month. I couldn't go out. Too cold, too slippery.
And see what's so killing about it. The point that I'm making is these laws can be changed. There's not a law that these people cannot change. These politicians are in a position and they know that they are being unfair to the public. They know this, but yet and still they sit up there and they try to put down anybody, any politician even, who's trying to help the people. They do him dumb. They kick him down to dirt. They blaspheme. They blackball his name. They blacklist. They do some terrible things.
Anybody that's trying to help people, same thing over there in our hometown, Chicago. The same thing, the people that's trying to do something, you know, that's the way it goes. But anyway, getting back to your choices, you have to be spiritually aware of what's happening. You can't continue to walk around with your head in the sand like a partridge. You have to open up your spiritual eyes, your spiritual ears, and listen. You cannot continue to make decisions and let your heart rule you. You got to let your mind take control and you do what's right. Voting that man in was not right. He already told you.
This is you thought what's his name?
Pawlenty.
You think Pawlenty is bad? Tim Walz he told you. He told you from the beginning that he was going to raise up the gas.
What did he say, love? He said when he raised the gas, he said, "Well, the gas is up." Just like I told the Minnesota people, I will be raising it, and they agreed because they voted for me. You hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you see how stupid you should feel? You done put a man in there who already told you he don't have your best interests at heart, because anybody know these gas companies is making billions. Trillions of dollars all over the world. But yet and still, you're going to come here in not $1.99. To me, that was a lot. But $2.69 a gallon right now,
You say it's
in
not
some
raising
places
it up.
it's $2.
Not only that's gonna be gas, baby, it's gonna be gas in your house. You know, the heating gas, you know. If you're gonna raise gas, it's all gas, and guess what? You're the one that's gonna pay it.
Yes,
You're
indeed.
the one that's continuing.
And politicians, for all of you who hear this, what I'm saying, you guys have got to do a better job than what you're doing. You got to have the public's best interest at heart, because apparently you do not have their best interest at heart, because you are allowing things to happen that should not happen. There should be a cap on the rent rate that you raise it up. They're building buildings everywhere talking about homelessness. People, the reason is homeless. People who can afford the $250,000 home?
It may not be because they don't have a job, because some of them do have a job, but they don't have the income. What do they tell us? You guys show a check stub
3 times as much.
3 times as much. A check stub.
Now,
Who makes that?
if the place you're trying to get a 1 bedroom,
or 2 bedroom, no matter. 3 times.
1,200. Using as a hypothetical example,
Oh, yeah.
$1,200. You got to have 3 times that much.
$3,600
$3,600
a month.
Now,
I don't make that type of money, and I'm not gonna work trying to kill myself to get it.
now you ain't got to have $3,600 a month.
You gotta show a check stub that you makes that type of money.
Thank you.
That's what I mean.
And
But listen to this, love. You give them $1,200. Now they want you to pay the water bill, and you know it's very illegal to charge people to pay a water bill, because the water could be hooked up to everybody in the apartment building, right?
Mhm.
So how I know how much water you can use today? Pretend I'm the property manager.
Mhm.
How can I say okay?
Justify.
Because I know good and well the water meters is not on every property. They're not. Okay, so, and you pay the water bill with your rent, see. So how can I say, what if you took a
Wait,
better price
you
today?
do you know
Okay.
it's a scam all around? They want $35 to $50 for an application fee. If you
Not
marry,
35, 40 to 55. No, not even 40. They want $50 per.
for an application fee
And what else, love?
for you and your wife, and then you got to pay amenities.
That's right, administration fee. $150, none. And
Refundable.
I said, okay, what's the, I already know about this stuff, but anyway, I'm gonna play a game. Okay, so what's the admin fee for? Well, it's because we gotta run your credit and get everything set up, your water, your lights, and you know
And
what I
that's
told
bull crap.
you know what I said? I said, so how long is it gonna take for you to get back with us? For us to get back? Well, this might take a week. I said, no, I thought it was only 15 minutes.
Mm.
It don't take no time to run your thing, and all you have to do is call. That's part of your job. But you're charging people to, you know, and
To
then you
do a
keep
credit
money-
check
keep
and
money.
stuff.
Now here's another one that is bad, love. It's bad TV land. Look here, when you get the place, say I'm filling an application, and I got to give you a money order. Okay, that's cool. Or check. I don't know why you can't take it off a debit card either.
Mm-hmm.
But why do I have to pay the deposit along with the application? And it got to be the money order. Bad business, you know why? Because if you don't get the place, how you gonna get your money order back because it got that property written? You can't do nothing with that money order.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll tell you, oh yeah, well, our company will give you a check if you don't get the money order. But then you're gonna have to wait. They're not gonna wait for the check.
They know they only have one apartment. They'll take 10 or 20 applications.
That's right.
10 or 20. So that means that you 50. I've known people to have to go and fill out 7 to 10 applications.
They don't get nowhere.
And,
they
it's,
keep all the money.
and this is money that they could use for their rent. But you paying $50 and your husband is paying $50. So that's $100 right there. This is just one place. If you don't get it there, you go to another place, 50 to 100. These people should not be allowed to take 10 to 12 applications for one apartment, knowing you can only give it to one place, one person. If the people, they don't get that place, they should get their money back.
But check this out. We went and the man had already, it was God that told him, I believe in Jesus Christ. Regardless of what people say, I still believe in him. He's our Lord and personal Savior. Now look here. It was only Jesus that made that man tell us, well, no, you can't look at the place no more because
we rented it out.
I said that quick.
2 days later.
Yeah. That means he was trying to get the money. Okay, and he already rented it out. So now what we tell 10 people, and they think they're going to get the place, and they all put the thing, but you already told the person.
Pay the application fee.
Yeah.
And they still don't get the place because these little scandalous
people.
Well.
You going to say something else? I said people.
Well, a lot of these, for want of a better word, these lowlifes, this is what I call lowlifes. They have the tendency to make people believe that they have a chance or opportunity to get this place, knowing they've already rented to somebody else.
Well, listen, I want to read this to you right quick.
Okay,
up here, okay, I'll read this first. Minneapolis is really not a place for black people. I'm just going to say it, and that's the way we call it. And well, let's say African Americans, we don't put no punches on this TV show, as you know, been following us for years, like 20 years. We call it out. Now, cause inquiring minds want to know. Now, I was on the internet today. I pulled this out for 2015 from Minnesota Spokesman Recorder Union. And the author was Hightower, Pastor Hightower. Okay, and he wrote The Anti-Poverty Soldier, and he was saying that Minnesota, now I'm paraphrasing now, Minnesota law total poverty for African Americans is 30%. Look here, and this is 2015, and the way it's going is more now. Okay, here we go. Minnesota ranks 4th behind Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Southern poverty states, and we are 4th, African Americans. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what the disparity is in. Home ownership. Here we go. 75% whites have homes. And I was surprised, 47% of Native Americans have homes. That's the next group. The next group after that is 47. So it's a tie. 47% of Asians, 45% Hispanics, and 21% of blacks have homes. We had the low total thing. So this is disparity in unemployment and in housing. And I'm gonna tell you what they do with the when you go look for a job. I never have too much trouble because I'm a nurse, right? And I work in the schools too, so I didn't have no trouble with that. But people, I teach sometimes. Sometimes I just tutor. Now, people that don't have no skills, well, my heart goes out to them because, this is what they do when they see, and we was told that by Johnson Lee, 2010, at this meeting at Europe when Governor Dayton was there. Look, if you have this 55411, 55412 area code, zip code, they throw your application in the garbage. Okay. So now, to me, they already know there's a lot of black people concentrated in that area, and they're just not going to give you a job. And that's why sometimes you will not get a call. I'm going to tell you what happened with me. 2009, I got my master's degree when I was in Ohio, right? In college administration, leadership council.
Higher education.
Higher education and college administration and leadership. And I put on the school of men, I can't remember, it's men's school or whatever it is for the colleges up here in Minneapolis.
They told you you didn't have experience.
No, they didn't even answer. So when I went out, to apply, they said, well, you don't have no experience. Now look here, you go to school and you go to college and you go to university and
how are you going to get experience?
And they will hire you. But you go in knowing that you're going to be able to work in the field that you studied, okay? And you do not expect to be turned down, else why did you go to school in the first place?
Spend all that money.
You don't have no experience. Why don't you give a person the
opportunity?
Because I don't care what y'all say, because in this state, they're not going to do it. Okay. So now, I didn't think that was fair, and the men's school it's like Metro State, where I graduated, got my undergraduate degree in psychology in 2001. You would think they would have been glad to hire me. But then I understand there's a hiring team. I thought the human resources, like a regular job, they say it's a hiring team that hire people into those colleges. So now, what if somebody that you know that don't particularly like you is on that team? And I know somebody didn't like me that's on that team. No, they didn't. They particularly
were you too outspoken?
And they was on that team that was Clarence. They didn't like me the first place. Oh, I know. For years he didn't. But that's a different story. And that's why I didn't have that job. I said I'm calling out names, okay. But that's the way we do it. And I don't think it's fair for you to go to school
all them years, pay all that money, go to college.
So happy to use your craft that you know, and then you can't. But that's right. You know what?
You got a degree in all of these different things, but you got to end up being a waitress or a busboy or something.
And then you can't pay student loans back with that type of money. So sometimes when they do you like that, you have to move. Now let me tell you something. It's this other girl, Paulette, and she got her doctor's degree in the early 2000s. And do you know they would not give her a job up here? Her doctorate degree in education. Guess where she went? She moved to Indianapolis, and
she's the dean of college down there.
Yes, but she's more than a dean. Some big down there with the dean. But she had to get out of here, sell out and everything. These people not even give her a job. See, sometimes you have to go. Fortunately for me, my career as a nurse, 35 years, I really didn't care. Because you know what? I really did, because I still was just a nurse. But I'm going to tell you something. What I did is, I wanted to be able to write those student journals, what we study. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. I wasn't planning on really, working. It would be nice, but it didn't, take nothing to me because, I can make more money You know, as a nurse, they're working in the school in the first place. Yeah, I would make more. But it's just, I'm saying this just to show you how the disparities is, and why I see so many other people working in fast foods. They have to be able to take care of their families.
They got
And
to take
this
whatever they can
state,
get.
Minnesota, is just like those 3 states down south, and we know those are prejudiced states.
Yeah, but see, people, the point that I'm trying to make is this. They talking about all this homelessness. There's a solution to this homelessness. We have a program with teach tenant training and certification, so as to make sure that the tenants know how to be good tenants. In other words, teach them you can't have a bunch of people coming in and out of your house all the time. You can't have the police running in and out of your house. You can't have loud music playing all the time.
No, you cannot.
You can't do a lot of these different things that you are not allowed to do, and you still do it, then you're going to be homeless. But a lot, 95 to 99% of the people that are homeless, they didn't do all of these different things I just got to mention. They only want to be able to have a decent shelter, a decent roof over their house, a decent place for their children to grow up in. And this is not asking too much. This is only fair. I mean, here, I got 4 children, and I'm trying to work hard to send them to college. I can't do this if the rent is constantly escalating.
Can't do it.
And not only that, the rent escalating, you have, when you got a bunch of children, you know that you have different things that you got to pay for the kids. They got school field trips, they got school clothing, they got different books that they got to get. They have so many different things that the children need in order to get ready to go to college. You can't go, how are you going to even prepare yourself mentally going to college? And you can't, you can't even study because you're hungry, your stomach is growling. I've been in classes where the children's stomach was actually growling. You know, I don't know if you ever been hungry like that, where your stomach growled and makes that noise and stuff.
Of course, we all been there.
And
but you probably starving.
The fact still remains that the parents is doing the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
They still want the best for you, so they work 2 jobs. They work themselves to death to send you to college. And then they got to pay all these hundreds, and it costs over $100,000 to most colleges for a 4-year if it's a decent college. Yeah, some people just told me $250,000 that they pay back and stuff. Now here you got all this education, but yet and still you can only get a busboy job, or a waitress job, or a maitre d' job, or something menial. What's the point in going to school and knowing that you got to pay all this money back?
That's right. And can't get a job.
So this is the reason there's so much criminal activity going on. They take from the have-nots, take from the ones who have, you know, not realizing they had to go through the same thing. They were just blessed to be able to overstep that boundary where they had to resort to doing criminal activities in order to support their families. A lot of people do things that they don't want to do in order to support themselves and their family.
Okay, let me go and move in here.
Okay.
Okay, any effort to end homelessness in the United States must address the range of issues that have resulted.
Go slower.
Okay. Any effort to end homelessness in the United States must address the range of issues that have resulted from racial inequity. This includes assuring affordable, stable housing for all, systems, programs, and individuals that serve people experiencing homelessness should monitor outcomes to eliminate disparities, according to the Alliance. Left believes the government's power structure has let Americans down.
Sure have.
The federal government slashed the HUD budget by about 70% back in the 80s. The modern day version of homelessness began at that point, she said. We can trace what we see now back to that point. Okay.
And I'm going to tell you something. People, we have done our Native Americans a very great injustice. Or should I say, the government have. For years, when they found out that there was gold in California, it wasn't no Asians or Europeans who was there. It was Native Americans. And as a result, they had the great gold rush. They took over these people's land. These Native Americans, these Indians, these are most of the people who died from freezing. Because see, the Indians are Native Americans. They are very proud people. They don't want to ask nobody for nothing. But yet and still, this is their country. Why should they be treated like dogs? Because that's what they treat them, like dogs.
You know, when I first came up here in '93, it was terrible. They had put 2 Native Americans in the trunk, in the same trunk. Of course, they sued, the police. The police did.
Well, see, that's another thing. The people who are our so-called elected officials, our so-called police officers and stuff, these people are the ones who are responsible for keeping us safe, keeping some people that are demonically entwined.
But then you hear that Minnesota was the worst with the police brutality?
Yes.
On the news. They did say it on the news.
Yeah.
Minnesota was the worst.
Just like the little Caucasian girl who called the police and
the Australian girl, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Somali police shot her dead.
Shot her dead, and she the one that called.
And then
somebody scared for his life. She went up to the car, and then she got shot dead, huh? He knows she had no gun.
What was she called the police to let them know there was somebody in the backyard. But you see, he got, not only did he get paid leave,
he still on leave. He go back to court, but nothing gonna happen.
It's over.
No,
ain't nothing happened to him.
It's not over yet because he went to court yesterday. But I don't believe it's nothing gonna happen to him.
I hope something happens to him. This says
this was getting ready. She came from Australia, and she was getting ready to get married to this young man, and she thought somebody was being raped or something in the backyard. So
and she
called the police or in the alley. So you know they always say, well,
call the police, call 911.
And so that's what she did.
And when you call 911, this is what happened.
She called, and then she went out to the car just to tell the people, yeah, I called, and I'm Justine, whatever the woman's name. I think that's what it is. And something that I would do. I called, and I'm just telling you, this is what I heard in the back. But you know what? Because that happened, nobody's going to be calling now. Because they don't want to get killed. Nobody's going to be calling now.
You know what? And this is a damn shame.
It is.
I mean,
It is. People
really,
scared to call.
This is critical. The only ones we can call is the police because they've already passed a law. You cannot have a gun, and the Fifth Amendment says that you have the right to bear arms. But they didn't pass all types of legislation. They're talking about, well, when you have a gun, you can kill people. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And they use the guns to kill people. But by the same token, here you got somebody, just like I was saying earlier, the police body slammed this girl and did her, dragged her out the car and stuff. They had it on television yesterday or the day before yesterday. And this woman didn't do nothing wrong.
Here we go. They got this law, it's stay your ground, and it's down south. Of course it is down there because they will kill you. I'm telling those people in Texas and whatnot. But I think they got it up here too because I remember they said that people have to carry a conceal so they don't have to see the gun. Although once we said to store, that man has his gun in his holster, remember?
Mm-hmm.
He sure did. He is his house. Of course, you know what color he was. You know.
Yeah. You
you
walk around with a gun, they gonna call the police. The police gonna come and body slam you, and they gonna have a reason for shooting you because of the fact they are the law.
Okay.
They can do whatever. Like I heard the police say to me.
2 minutes. We gotta say our phone number. What is it?
Oh, okay. You can reach us at 763-703-0546. Or what's our
That's it. I forgot the home number.
Well,
Let's
I
call the
remember
cell number.
763-273-3457.
I never remember. Well, okay. 763-703-0456. If you want to be a guest on our show, you got feedback.
No, 0546 people.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you didn't.
Okay. 763-703-0546.
There you go.
Okay. If you want to be a guest on our show, if you got feedback, just give us a call. Questions, comments, concerns. Give us a call. Pat or Brother Love, the Loves, and you can become a guest.
And we would love to hear your comments, especially we definitely
Go ahead.
We definitely want you to support the UD amnesty bill.
Power to the people
people.
all the time.
God bless you and heaven smile on you.